Let's go ahead and unstub this method. We've already provided the code, but let's do a quick walkthrough so we understand what's happening. We're now accessing a new property in our requests parameter. Here, we're making sure that there is indeed a request header present, and that request header includes an authorization header. Similarly to how we access query parameters, bodies, and path parameters, we're able to use just request.headers to access this information. If there is no authorization header, well, then the user is obviously not authorized. So we will return a 401, users not allowed, and return. Since we're not calling the next function within this call, and instead we're simply returning out of the function, no further functions will be executed, and essentially that entire flow is terminated, which is doing what we want it to do. It's preventing unauthorized users from doing anything. Next, if we do have an authorization header, we're going to split it. If you recall, it's of the format bearer space token. So really what we're after is that second bit, that long jumbled up encrypted section that will contain the information that we can make use of. So what this will be doing is splitting on this first space here, and then what we're after is the second bit here. If, let's say, there's a second space somewhere, we know that, or if there isn't any space at all, let's just say someone tries to pass the token by itself, or just nothing, this will fail, and we'll send a message to the user saying our token is malformed. Finally, we know that our token should be the first item of our array when it's 0 indexed. And then finally, we can use our JWT library to verify that our token is legitimate. However, a little bug here, that would not work because we need to decrypt using the same secret that we encrypted that method, that token with. So basically, we just need to pass in our token and our secret, and then our server can verify whether that is a valid token. If it is not a valid token, we'll retrieve an error. If it is, we will retrieve the payload of that token within the decoded parameter of that returned value. We can now pass that decoded information back to our calling method. We can then pass that along further down the chain using that next, or in my case, just continue on down the process. Now that we have our provision system in the cloud, we can use Postman and the same endpoints we've been using within our collection to test and interact with this system. All we need to do is copy our endpoint from our environment in our application in Elastic Beanstalk, and then launch our Postman, and we open one of our public links, let's say feed. We're remembering we're using our host variable within our actual endpoints, and we're doing that for all of our endpoints. This makes it really easy for us to test our deployed infrastructure because we just have to change that endpoint in one place and it propagates through our entire collection. Looking at our main collection and editing it, we see our variables in that last tab. We're initializing it to our local host, but we're going to be now changing it to our endpoint that we copied from our AWS console, making sure we keep our HTTP protocol at the beginning of that domain. We don't need a port anymore because we're running on the default port, so we should be good to go once we click Update. And now, once we click Send, this will be sending our request to our provisioned cloud infrastructure, and this is actually going to our Elastic Beanstalk instance and giving us our results. So go ahead and give that a try, make that change, play around with some endpoints, and see how it feels. The other fun thing we can do with Postman is run our entire collection at once. In this case, we can click on this collection runner and click Run, and this will basically run all of the stuff within our collection, including all of the tests, so we can be confident that what we just deployed is what we intended to deploy and that it all works. This is helpful to run on staging, and using Postman with the command line interface, we can actually have this as part of our build and deploy process, so we don't have to do anything. This will automatically be done for us. Cool. Now that we've deployed, do not forget, remove that administrator credential from your IAM profile for your dev account. This is really important, and this will make you a better developer if you take security features like this seriously.